Welcome to this copywriting course. Copywriting is rearranging words to make things sound better. It's salesmanship in text form, and copywriters are amongst the highest paid writers in the world. So if you want more traffic, more leads, and more sales just by rearranging a couple of words, then you are going to love the actionable tips in this copywriting course. Let's get started. In this video, you're going to learn how to use the AIDA formula. And this powerful copywriting formula works for sales pages, blog posts, email newsletters, sales video scripts, Facebook ads, Google ads, and more. And this one copywriting formula will help you write all of your copy faster and help you get results that will blow you away. And if you're not using AIDA, then you could be missing out on a lot of leads, traffic, and sales. Now here's a visual of how AIDA looks. As you can see, AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And AIDA is designed to grab people's attention and take them through your content to the point that they take action on what they've read. And this formula is virtually foolproof. I recommend that you use it for every piece of content you write because you shouldn't be writing from scratch. So let's take a look at the 4 parts to the AIDA formula in detail. Now the first part is attention, and if you want people to take action on what you've read, you first have to get their attention. And you're going to get their attention with the headline or the subject line or the video title. And in this example here, you can see subject of this email line is create highly engaging videos straight from your phone. And that's really important to have a catchy title because the reader's going to be asking, what's in it for me? Why should I invest my time reading on? And if they don't open the email or click on the video or click on the blog post, then they're never going to buy or subscribe or whatever action you want them to do. Now the second part of the AIDA formula is interest. And once you've hooked the reader, it's time to turn that attention into interest. And if you don't hold their interest in the first paragraph, then you've lost them. So the way to get them interested is to engage them with unusual, counterintuitive, or fresh information. So in this example here, we can see that you've probably seen some different video content creation tools that have hit the market in the last 3 years, but I bet you haven't seen anything like this before. It lets you shoot, edit high-class videos from your phone. So automatically it's recognizing in this example that there are other options out there, but this one is different, and now I'm interested really to find out why and learn more about it. The third part to the AIDA formula is desire. And what you want to do now is really engage them so that they really want what you're offering. And there are 3 ways to create desire in your copy. 1 is to show the product benefits. 2 is to explain how your product can change their life or how it solves their problems. And 3 is to show the results other people have achieved, like testimonials. And in this example here, we can see not only can you pump out high quality content with just your phone, you can also leverage new aspect videos that are delivering more engagement, like 100% more engagement, 35% video views higher, 33% less cost per engagement, 78% more visibility in the newsfeed. So those are some of the benefits and really the outcomes that I could get by using this product. And here's a bit of a testimonial or an influencer reference. Even Daryl Eves, a leading influencer on YouTube with over 500,000 subscribers, is endorsing this new tool. So if the best guy or one of the best guys is using it, well, that's very interesting to me, and I want to use it so I can get up to his level. Now, the final part of the AIDA formula is action. And this is really where you want to ask them to take the next step. Now, once you've stirred up enough desire to get your prospect thinking about taking action, it's time to close the deal. And these call to actions are pretty simple statements to let the reader know that what you want them to do next, like buy the product, sign up for the newsletter, watch a video, or share your tweets. And everything you write should have a call to action after it. After all, you're creating this piece of content for a specific reason. And you can use a very clear and obvious call to action maybe change it to a different color. Urgency is important as well. So try and put in an incentive to buy it, like it's on sale or it's a special price or something like that. So as we can see in this example here, grab your copy of this tool at the early adopter pricing. So that's an incentive. And again, which is only available for the next few days. So and that's creating an obvious call to action. Click here, and it's creating that urgency as well. So that is a full run through of the AIDA formula, an example to really make it clear for you. If you're ready to get your content read more often, keep your prospects and readers hooked and drive them towards action, then use AIDA for your next piece of marketing content. You're going to be blown away by the results. In this video, I'm going to give you 11 tips to write magnetic headlines. And headlines are so important because on average, 5 times as many people read the headline as the body content. And when you've written your headline, you have spent 80 cents of the dollar. Now, this is what David Ogilvy said. He was one of the original grand masters of copywriting, one of the big ad men from the 1950s and 60s. And literally he was saying, you've spent 80 cents of your dollar, because he used to buy space in newspapers to advertise. But what that should signal to you, even if you're not buying ads, is how important headlines are. In fact, if you look at what he said here, really you should be spending 5 times the amount of time writing your headline versus the content, because that's what most people are going to read. So now that you understand the importance of headline, let's look at the first tip, which is to start headlines with numbers, such as top 15 websites to find free images for your content marketing, 21 actionable SEO techniques you can use right now, 7 ways to make yourself a happier person every day, 7 secrets, 7 proven, 7 reasons, 7 tips, etc. Now, the great thing about starting your headlines with numbers is that not only does it create a lot of curiosity, so people want to click through and find out the 15 things or the 7 things, it also creates a very easy structure for you to create content because you just have a list. And it also creates a structure that's very easy for people to read because they can just scan down through them quickly. So this is probably the biggest headline tip that you can use and apply easily. And websites like BuzzFeed have built $100 million businesses a year just using this headline tip. Every article on their site is almost starting with a number like this. Now, tip number 2 for writing headlines is to use how-to headlines. They still work. How to make a lavender lemonade to get rid of headaches and anxiety. How to do blank even if common obstacle blank. How to do blank without common objection. And really, these ones are very powerful, the how to, even or without, because a lot of people know how to do things, but then they run into problems and the existing solutions don't solve those. So if you really want to grab attention and have something unique and different, including the even if or without, without having how to make YouTube videos without recording any content. That's an example that really is going to grab attention. Third tip to write headlines is to flag common mistakes, such as 16 copywriting mistakes you're probably making and how to fix them. And are you making these 10 common Google AdWords mistakes? Again, it creates that curiosity for people to click through because they want to know, did they make the mistakes? And also it'll help them solve a problem that commonly comes up, and that can get them to their desired location much quicker. Now, the fourth tip to write headlines is to ask questions, such as, do you want to build a snowman? Read this guide first. Think you know SEO? Quiz yourself and find out. These questions are just a great way to engage people and to really get them into the content. Fifth tip to write headlines is to use punctuation. And this is a very simple technique which is especially useful for SEO. So if you want to rank in the Google search engines or the YouTube search engine, putting your keyword at the start of the title can be very helpful. So here's an example. If you wanted to rank for the keyword marketing plan template, the title of your blog post could be marketing plan template, create your first marketing plan in 5 steps. That's going to give you an advantage in terms of SEO because your keyword is at the start of the title. And it also just makes really clear to people what the post is about. 6th tip to write headlines is to be ultra specific. So you really want to define what the article is about, and remember that the headlines set the expectation for the rest of the article. So try and be really clear about what it is and sum it up in a simple idea. So bad headline, for example, would just be write a song. Good headline would be how to compose your first song, songwriting 101. There's a clear outcome there. Compose your first song and all the basics to it. 7th tip to write headlines is to use the 5 W's. The 5 W's are engaging, interrogative words that are used to gather information like who, what, when, where, why. These are common questions that we ask. And by using them in your headlines, you can articulate to readers the kind of information that you intend to provide. For example, you could say these 7 questions will reveal why you're still single. Here's another example. How to motivate yourself when you don't want to exercise. So include those 5 W's in your headlines. Tip number 8 to write headlines is to pay attention to the headline length. So if you want your headlines to look good and to prevent them from being cut off, make sure your headlines are the right length. And Google typically displays the first 50 or 60 characters of a blog post title in the search results. So you really want to make sure that you're within that range. Otherwise, it's going to be cut off. People aren't going to see it in the search results, and it might not be as compelling for them to click through. 9th tip is to use an image to enhance your headline. And a good image is critical to success. It should really grab the attention of the viewer and help them understand the essence of what the article or video or course has to offer. And if it can really explain visually what your headline is saying, that's even better. So you can get free stock photos at a ton of websites. Here are a couple that I use personally: Unsplash.com, Stocksnap.io, and Pexels.com. And these are copyright free images that you can use across your content. Tip number 10 is to model the best in the business. So in particular, I have found a site called jeffbullis.com. I think he's excellent at writing titles and having good images that go with them. They're really clickable. And for example, here you can see 12 new plugins that will boost your online sales in 2019. Very specific. He's got a number, he's got an outcome, and I really want to see what those 12 are because I want to get that result. 5 fundamental flaws with your brand messaging and ways to fix them. Again, that's kind of the common mistake example. So I would recommend you look at maybe someone in your niche who's very good at writing headlines and take some examples from them, maybe modify them and use them for yourself. Or you can check out Jeff Bullis and just use what his kind of blog posts as templates and adapt them to your own business. Now, tip number 11, the final tip, is to really practice. And as you can see here in this tool, it says copywriters aren't born, they practice. And I would recommend you use this tool. You can just type in 25 headlines into Google and it should pop right up. But the great thing about this tool is that you can really try to write a headline for a blog post 25 times. You can see 25 different ways that you could really market the blog post that you're going to write and see which one really catches your attention the most. And as we said, 5 times as many people are going to read the headline. So it's really recommend that for every piece of content you write or even email, try and write at least 10 different variations of the same thing to see what really grabs attention. And the cool thing about this tool is it's got a headline length checker built in, so you can really see that if it's the right length. So they have it for headlines, tweets, and emails. And also they have some kind of templates built in there so you can write over those and adapt them to the topic that you are working on. So those are the 11 tips to write magnetic headlines. Go ahead and try them for yourself. I think you're going to be very surprised with the results that you can get. Features tell, but benefits sell. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to flip features into benefits. And one of the best examples of all time of a company flipping a feature into a benefit is when Apple released the iPod. They didn't say we have 1 gigabyte of storage for MP3s. That was the feature. They presented it as a benefit for the customer, 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that is just a brilliant example of flipping a feature into a benefit, because the feature, I as the average user don't know what a gigabyte of storage is, but I can see 1,000 songs in my pocket. I get it, I understand it. There's a clear benefit for me. And not only is that just really clear, it's really clear how much of a benefit that is compared to other options out there. I remember having a mini disc player. This is going back quite a while now, and I think I could only have 20 or 30 songs on a mini disc. Maybe it was more, maybe it was like 50, but 1,000 songs in your pocket was just so much better than anything out there. A CD was probably 20 songs. So 1,000 songs in your pocket not only is clear, but it clearly presented the benefit versus alternatives out there. And that is one of the reasons why the iPod was so successful, that they were clearly able to sell the benefits of the product and not just the features, what a lot of competitive products versus the iPod were focusing on. So think of the feature as here's what our product can do, and the benefit is really here's what you can do with our product. And if you want to create a lot of desire for your product, you need to sell the results, not just the product itself. So what is actually the result that people can get from having an iPod? It's 1,000 songs in their pocket. So let's go through a couple of examples. If we look at shampoo, you could say that one of the features is it contains a special formula, Pantol, but really, so what? If you want to really flip a feature into a benefit, you can apply the so what test. So what if it contains that special ingredient? What is really the benefit for the customer? And really, it gets you beautiful hair that gets you noticed. That's really the benefit, people. That's the result that they want. And if you focus on that, as you can probably look at it yourself, like what do you find more appealing? You want to get the beautiful hair that gets noticed. You don't really care about this special ingredient. Let's look at another example. Here is a bag, and one of the features is it has a rain cover. So apply the so what test once again to flip that feature into a benefit. Why do I care if it has a rain cover? The benefit for me is it keeps your gear dry even in torrential rain. That's what I can do with the product. That's not just the feature, what the product actually does. So let's look at another example. The feature of a fitness program might be that it includes a meal plan and a shaker. So if we apply that so what test, what benefit is there if there's a meal plan and a shaker included in the fitness program? Well, the benefit is really that I'll know exactly what to eat. And as you can see in all these examples, the benefit is really going to sell the product because it's far more compelling. It's what I can do with the product and really the result I'm going to get out of it. So the action for you is to write a list of your features and really apply the so what test so you can flip those features into benefits. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to create an irresistible call to action. A strong call to action is the difference between a page that converts and one that falls flat. So the first tip to create an irresistible call to action is to have a call to action on every page, not just your home page, but also your blog posts, in your emails, and really any Facebook post or any marketing content that you do. because everything that you write should have a call to action. After all, you're creating that piece of content for a specific reason. You want to build engagement with your prospects and audience and really get them to start taking action. And it mightn't always be the call to action on your homepage, such as signing up for the 14-day trial. It could be sign up to your mailing list, so then you can potentially sell to them later on. Or it might even be in an email, getting them to share it with somebody or reply to you so you can learn a little bit more about their problems and what you can help them with. But really, you should be engaging with your audience at every opportunity that you can to really build that relationship where you do something and they take action. And that's why you should have a call to action on every page. Now, I also recommend that you begin with the end in mind. So before you start writing anything, an email, a blog post, or a landing page, decide what action you want that reader to take at the end, so you're really clear on it, because if you're not clear on it, they're not going to know what to do. So the second tip to create an irresistible call to action is to start with a verb. Now, it is called a call to action, so really start that call to action with action verbs like start, try, download, subscribe, watch, share, fill out, find out, shop, or order. It just makes it really clear that you're expecting them to take an action, and the best way to show that is by starting with an action verb. Now, some of these action verbs like start or try are great to use because they don't seem as committal as something like buy or shop. And that's why a lot of sites, even online course sites like Udemy, will say try any course, enroll today instead of buy or shop, because it sounds like not a big as commitment. So if you have the option, try and pick a verb like start or try that doesn't sound like a big of a commitment like shop or order. Now, the third tip to create an irresistible call to action is to create a sense of urgency. And here are some easy ways to create a sense of urgency in your call to action. Include words like click now, try our software or service today, limited time offer, quantities limited, only 47 left, sale ends on August 31st, doors close on Thursday, and don't miss out. These are all ways to create that sense of urgency. This has been a technique used before the internet was even invented to get people to buy things. The closing down sales that you might see in a retail shop, the Christmas sales, the January sales. People know that there's a deadline there, and that really encourages them to buy because it creates that sense of urgency. Now, the fourth tip to create an irresistible call to action is to really just make it visible. You need to be really clear on what you expect people to do. They don't have time to figure it out what they're supposed to do next. So you should really draw the user's eye to the action you want them to take. And you can use contrasting colors, like maybe on a website or in a blog post. Like, for example, here you can see I've highlighted in yellow, in a yellow box here, the call to action, which is to download a PDF. And of course, they enter their email in order to get that. So I get their email address. But on the page, hopefully it's a bit zoomed out, but you can see that that really does catch the attention of the blog post. Now, also in the sidebar here, hopefully you can see that this really is a contrasting color I've used to catch attention. And it's the email sign up form in the sidebar of my website. But if you're using an email, for example, you can just simply bold the call to action like I've done here on the slide, and you can really see it pops or sticks out. Another tip for emails as well is actually paste the full link into the email. When people see links, they automatically know that they're supposed to click on them. And I would recommend you paste the full link in rather than say click here, because if you just have click here, it can really get lost. It's easy to miss. And if you want to make it visible in an email, you can just paste the whole link in. Even on a Facebook post as well, pasting the whole link in makes it really visible. It's really obvious what you want them to do. So tip number 4 is to make it visible. Now, tip number 5 is to minimize the risk. If you want to really reduce people's fears and hesitations, you should minimize the risk and really make it easy for them to say yes. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. One is the money back guarantee. And you can use a phrase like join today and enjoy our 100% money back guarantee for 30 days. You can also use something more specific, like if you don't get X result by X time, then I'll give you 100% of your investment back, no questions asked. And that's a good phrase to use because you're getting 100% of your investment back. So it's making them think that's an investment, it's not just an expense. And also no questions asked also reduces the risk because they know, okay, I'm not going to be bounced around from support teams. There's nothing I have to do in order to get the refund. It's just no questions asked. And so that's often a good little phrase to put in to minimize the risk. Now, another way you can minimize the risk is by saying something like start your free trial today, no credit card required, no software to install. So the risk is not just in terms of their money, but it's also their time and effort. So if you say there's no credit card required, that means they won't have to cancel it or remember to cancel it later on. And there's no big installation process, which really means there's no risk of their time and wasting it. Another phrase that can be good to use is something like download and get started today. Sign up in just 60 seconds, get approved in just 8 minutes is another thing I've seen. And those specific time numbers really minimize the risk and say, okay, I'm not going to be doing this for the next 2 hours. I can get this done quickly and it's going to be quick to get going. So that wraps up the 5 tips to create an irresistible call to action. So really what you need to do is be sure to use all these 5 tips when writing your next call to action. Remember that a strong call to action is the difference between a page that converts and one that doesn't. So take this seriously and apply those 5 tips to your next call to action. If you want to write copy that converts suspicious readers into ready-to-buy customers, then you just need to master one simple rule overall, and that is to write like your customers talk. All you need to do is take the pain points and desires that your prospects talk about and write them into your sales pages, emails, or blog posts. And when you do that, your prospects are going to say, hey, this product is exactly for me. This is different to other solutions that I've seen, and I really want this. And they're going to be with their wallets out, ready to buy after only reading a couple of sentences. Now, the question is, how do you understand their pain points and desires? And you can use one of these 4 simple strategies to do that. 1 is customer surveys. 2 is reviewing social media, Facebook groups, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, etc. 3 is review sites and marketplaces, going through the 5-star reviews and the 1-star reviews to understand what they love about existing products, what they hate, and what's missing in the marketplace. And finally, doing customer interviews over Skype or the phone to really dig deep and understand what is holding them back and what solutions that are out there aren't working for them. And that gives you the opportunity to create something that is a unique selling proposition and include that into your copywriting. Now, we've gone through how to do all of these 4 strategies in the market research section of the course. So I'm going to put a link in the description so you can go back and look at that if you haven't. But as a reminder, I just wanted to say in this lecture that there's nothing more powerful in marketing than understanding a customer's pain points and desires. And because copywriting is just salesmanship in text form, it's so important to return to this as well. If you really want to write headlines that are going to get clicked open and bullet points of desires that are really going to excite people and first paragraphs that are really going to interest people and to get them engaged. So if you haven't, go back and look at the market research section of the course so you can get all of that powerful sales copy to include in your marketing materials.